Welcome back to Stuttering Sports. Today is July 13th, 2021, and the topic for today is the Los Angeles Rams and why they are my favorite to win the Super Bowl in the 2021-2022 season. And we all know why they jumped from just a fringe kind of wild card team to becoming an instant Super Bowl contender, and that's because they got Matthew Stafford. They made the QB upgrade that they desperately needed. Not that Jared Goff was really bad, but well, the rushing game fell off and Jared Goff couldn't pick up the slack. They know he's not their guy. You bring in Matthew Stafford, who doesn't need a system to be great, then boom, you are my Super Bowl contender. Because when you look at the offense that they currently have, the passing game's gonna be absurd. They still have Cooper Kupp. They still have Robert Woods. They still have Van Jefferson developing. And they drafted Tutu Atwell with their second round pick, who's a small but he's a shifty, speedy guy. So that passing game with Matthew Stafford, they have weapons galore. Looking at the tight end position, they still have Tyler Higbee, who, he's alright, there's nothing too special about him, but they also drafted a tight end with their fourth round pick. So that passing game, weapons galore. You got an upgrade at quarterback, a big one at that. You lost Josh Reynolds. Yeah, that sucks. You hate to see it. But the Rams with Matthew Stafford, that passing game is so dangerous. And I haven't even talked about Sean McVay, who I'm sure is having a blast literally as I'm recording and as you're watching this. Just coming up with schemes for Stafford, just watching him play and knowing he has a legit quarterback who can hopefully take him back to the promised land and finish the job this time. Looking at the rushing offense, it came into its own towards the end of last season. They had this weird, three-headed running back kind of conundrum with Cam Akers, Darrell Henderson, and Malcolm Brown. It was kind of weird. They didn't really know who to give the ball to, but then Cam Akers came into his own towards the end of the season, and he really pushed that team to the playoffs. He really put the Rams offense on his back and said, we're going to the playoffs. Looking at the rushing offense, they still have Darrell Henderson. They did lose Malcolm Brown. That's a fine 1-2 punch, but we all know that Cam Akers is going to get a bulk of the reps, and rightfully so. Their offensive line is still, it's still pretty good. I'm surprised that Andrew Whitworth is still playing. That dude's 40, good for him. The offensive line's still good. They're still kicking it. They lost Austin Blythe this offseason, but that wasn't the biggest blow. He was a good center, but hey, now we can see if Brian Allen can step up to that starting center role. So yeah, the offense with Matthew Stafford, it's 10 times better than what it was before, and this isn't me hating on Jared Goff. It's just me saying when the running game went to shit, when Todd Gurley went to shit, well, Jared Goff couldn't pick up the slack. So let's just say in some fucking weird world, if Cam Akers just falls off somehow, which I don't think will happen, they do have a passing game to pick up the slack now with Matthew Stafford, and they still have a good offensive line as well. Looking at their defense, I don't have to say much about their defense. They were number one in total defense and number one in scoring defense last year. That's all I have to say. That's literally it. So that's all I'm going to say about it. But the reason why I view them as my Super Bowl favorite this year is because back in 2017, 2018, when they just bursted right onto the scene and said, hey, we're making the Super Bowl, and they were virtually unstoppable until Bill Belichick, of course, but they were unstoppable. And their identity was, hey, we're the new fun guys. We're the fun team. We're going to run it down your throat with Todd Gurley. And we're going to have this awesome play-action scheme where fucking Cooper Kupp's just going to be open. That didn't make much sense, but it summed up their offense really well. And no one could stop it, literally, until the Super Bowl. So, their identity then was, we're in sunny Los Angeles. We got pretty boy Jared Goff. We got Sean McVay, the young offensive guy. Todd Gurley's making all-pro teams. And then they lost their identity when Todd Gurley went downhill and Jared Goff couldn't pick up the slack. Now, I believe they have that identity back with, instead of Jared Goff and Todd Gurley, now they have Matthew Stafford and Cam Akers. And with those two guys, it's not like Sean McVay went downhill. No. Sean McVay is still Sean McVay. He's still a top-tier head coach, and he's going to prove it again this offseason. He's a force to be reckoned with. He is one of the smartest head coaches right now, and now he has Matthew Stafford to play with. We all saw the quote a few weeks to a month ago where he said that Matthew Stafford is better than advertised. That was just a flex to the rest of the NFL. Like, yeah, we made the playoffs and we started John Wolford during the playoffs. Yeah, that happened. But now we have Matthew Stafford. And yeah, the defense, that still has Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald and a really underrated support cast around those guys. And I know that everyone criticizes the Rams for always trading their first round picks. They haven't had a first round pick since like Jared Goff, I think, something stupid like that. But can you blame them? When you can get Matthew Stafford and Jalen Ramsey, can you really blame them? Because I personally can't. I personally cannot blame them for doing what they've done. It's definitely I'm very skeptical of the idea of giving up first round picks and going win now. But when you look at the team they have right now, Matthew Stafford, all of his weapons, a great rush game, a good offensive line, and the #1 defense last season, you can't blame me for saying they're my Super Bowl favorite. There will obviously be very big contenders within the NFC, especially the NFC West. The 49ers, do not sleep on them. They're going to be a Super Bowl contender. The Seahawks, I don't consider them a contender, but they're always that playoff team as long as they still have Russell Wilson. And the Cardinals, I think they're ready to make a playoff push. I don't view them as a Super Bowl contender yet, but that division with the NFC West, that division is absurd. And obviously looking at the rest of the NFC, you have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's all I gotta say. They're a fantastic team. They're fucking awesome. I plan on making a Buccaneers video soon. But just the excitement around this Rams team cannot be understated to me. There will obviously be the external forces that happen. There will be some injuries. That just happens with every team. And there's going to be some things that you can't control. But as of right now, of July 13th, I do have the Rams as my Super Bowl favorite because Matthew Stafford fucking needs one. That's going to do it for me today. If you enjoyed this video, share it with your friends. If not, share it with your friends. Leave a like if you liked the video. And subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this. I want to do daily, but that probably won't happen. So like every 2-3 days I do upload. So yeah, hope you enjoyed and have a great day.